Now that we're in After Effects, we're going to use this content-aware fill. You see the reference frame is down here to help. Now what's necessary is we're going to choose Fill. We'll go with the object method with a slight expansion and tell it to do the entire duration. Now, I need to click Generate Fill Layer. It's going to analyze. Hopefully these pixels will be enough to cover the entire range. If not though, we can adjust and create a new mask and do a secondary fill. It's now analyzing the shot, and depending upon the speed of your machine, this can take a few minutes. Be patient while it looks at the existing footage. This is a pretty complex scene, so it's going to need to use a lot of analysis to calculate the new pixels. Now that the analysis is complete, it's generating the new frames. Again, the scene is a bit longer, so it will take a little bit of time. While this is happening, I'm going to add one more thing under the Layer menu. I'll choose to add a new null object. This is an invisible object that can be used to parent other objects. We'll go ahead and place that above and use the parent pick whip. I'll connect that to the other layers. This will come in handy if we need to move things. Now, let's let that fill complete. The initial blend here is looking relatively good, but it's not perfect. I see some extra challenges. So I'm going to choose Undo for a moment, and let's remove that fill. Let's back off here and modify the mask. I'm going to give it a heavier feather so there's a bit more of a transition. And let's expand that mask slightly. Now, we can regenerate the fill layer. You'll notice this is doing a nice job. However, on some of these areas where the frame is bobbling, we don't have all the pixels we need. There's a lot of challenges with this particular shot. This is why, while the content-aware fill is doing a great job, we're going to take advantage of the null object to scale things up a little bit and just help obscure some of the edges. So now if we drag through, you'll see how it's handling large portions of this very well, and a few parts are a little challenged. Let's go ahead and make our tweaks. I'm going to go to where it really holds up and mark the work area. Press N to mark the end, and then go to the beginning and press B. Now, using that null object with everything parented to it, it'll be easy to make a few tweaks. I'll press S for scale and Shift A for anchor point. And this just helps me scale up the shot. And I'll nudge it over a little bit, like so. There we go. And we're just getting past some of the more egregious pixels and focusing the shot. Now let's have a look. You see we've got the shot moving. It's pretty solid. I could probably back this off just a little and nudge that back down for a little more headroom. That's good. The texture is holding up nicely. Now to really draw your eye into the subject, I'm just going to reframe things a bit. Let's do two things. Layer New, and I'm going to choose a solid layer here. We'll make this white and place it on the top. I'll use the gradient ramp. Let's set this to have a ramp. We're just going to create a ramp from the side. This becomes our transition zone. Now we can adjust the blend here. Let's use multiply. Now we've got a great ramp going onto our subject. You see we can refine that, and that's really helping. I'm now going to add another adjustment layer, and on this, let's add the Lumetri color effect. And all I'm going to worry about is the vignette here, creating a slightly dark edge with a bit of a feather. All right, let's have a look. That use of ramping really helps sell the scene. It pulls your eye into the subject and into the brighter zones, and what I see is believable. Now you can go back and tweak and mask and do a little bit more cloning. Remember, there is cloning here in After Effects, but in general, we've been able to remove a tremendous amount of detail. Feel free to continue to play and refine, but as you see, challenging shots sometimes take a few passes and a couple of refinements. But in this case, we were able to get a tremendous amount of repair done in a relatively short time. Now, let's let this finish out and we'll play it in real time. You'll see that even some of those imperfections you see on the paused frames are not nearly as noticeable when the shot is in motion. So overall, some great results.